Is Broadway too crowded to succeed? Let's unpack. Hey friends, if you're new here, my name is Katharine Quinn. I am a 30-something living in New York City and working on Broadway. Last year I worked on Shucked and How to Dance in Ohio. This year I am running social media for The Great Gatsby on Broadway. Other shows TBD. As always, you all will be the first to find out. All right friends, we have a historically busy Broadway season. We have 35 shows currently running on Broadway and most of them are new shows. We have had a record-breaking number of shows opening over the past year on Broadway. Part of this is due to the backlog of shows during the pandemic, and part of this is due to extreme turnover that we are seeing in the industry because mid-sized shows are not able to sustain. Shows in general are not able to sustain on Broadway. We have lost some longer-running shows like Dear Evan Hansen, longer-running shows like Phantom of the Opera, and so it's a tough time on Broadway. People have many different theories as to how to remedy this situation, but I would like to lay out some basic facts for us to start. We have 35 shows running on Broadway. We are trying to fill about 38,000 seats on any given day. That's a lot of seats. Every single day. This year, we have had somewhere between 300,000 and 450,000 people walking through Times Square every day. That is the theater district. That is where Broadway shows are. So we have 10 times the number of people that we need already in the neighborhood every single day. We are expected to have 68 million tourists total this year in 2024 in New York City. The tourists are there. We have to learn how to attract them, how to let them know what we're offering. I shared this anecdote in one of my last videos. I saw a nurse practitioner today and she learned that I worked on Broadway and she's in her 30s and hopefully it seemed, expendable income, hip, whatever, living her life. And she's like, oh my God, I'm gonna go see Hamilton for the first time. My hunch. Hamilton is almost 10 years old, okay? Hamilton is 9 years old. It will have been on Broadway for 10 years next year. That's math. And if we count the run of the public, it is a 10-year-old show. It is a decade old. And this human who's been living in New York City for a long time is just now going to see Hamilton. There's a lot of indicators in that one data point. But to me, what it indicates is Hamilton is great, and also she likely doesn't know what else is on offer. I think that it used to be more the case, and this could be very naive of me, but I think some of my assertions are going to be really astute, and some of them people in the industry are going to be like, you just don't know how it used to be. And that's also true. So leave a comment down below. I'm here to engage, and I'm not here to pontificate and be like the ultimate source of wisdom. I just want to engage in conversation and make things better, okay? My perception is that being on Broadway used to be enough. Being on Broadway was sort of like an advertisement in and of itself. How many of these shows have you seen? When we were living in an analog world, where you would see the billboards for the Broadway shows, where you go to the TKTS booth, everything was print, and that was it. Yes, you're gonna see a billboard, yes, you're gonna see maybe a TV ad, but if you're looking in the back of the playbill, the same value is given to each of those shows of like, how many of these shows have you seen? The ABC guide or whatever it is they call it. We are now fighting for attention in a way that we never have historically. Our first point of contact, not to be total social media manager, with any brand is on our phones, okay? Social media, digital media in general, is more important than it ever has been. And it presents opportunities that we've never had before. And we have so much room to grow, and it's very exciting. The thing that is exciting about this problem, attracting tourists, inviting them into the Broadway experience, the opportunity is musical theater is cool in a way that it hasn't been. It's in the zeitgeist in a way that it hasn't been in decades. The Wicked trailer premiered during the Super Bowl. We had High School Musical, the musical, this series. We're in a post-Glee, post-high school musical era. More kids are graduating from musical theater school than ever before. Barbie was essentially a movie musical. We had Mean Girls, the musical movie. Color Purple. Like, it is popular. Tillamy Shillamy was in Wonka, the musical, and we didn't talk about the fact that it was a musical, but it was still a musical. Musical theater is in the zeitgeist. People like musical theater. People like camp. We're really good at it. We can be really good at it when we don't take ourselves too seriously, but I'm also here for the serious theater. That's not the point. We have to tell people what we're offering. The average Broadway ticket price is $168 currently, I believe, with fees. So for a family of four, math is hard, but that's like gonna be almost $700. That's a lot of money for a single night out. When I could go to the iPick movie theater and for a $20 ticket, sit in a recliner with a blanket on top of me and be really cozy, and instead I'm going to a Broadway show where the seats are cramped. If we want to talk about the Broadway experience and some of my ideas as to how to improve it, click the link up here. I never remember what corner, but I think it's this one. Broadway has a brand problem. People don't know what Broadway is. Broadway is synonymous with musical theater. Other than that, people know that Broadway is expensive. They could probably name Wicked, Hamilton, maybe a Disney show. Beyond that, people don't know. If you are waiting, I've said this so many times and I'm gonna say it forever. If you are waiting until the first day of rehearsal to post your first piece of social media content, if you are waiting until even the announcement of the Broadway show for your social media to begin, you are too late. You're too late. You have to start building that brand earlier. The For You page is endless. Remember the days on Facebook when it would be like, you're all caught up? That does not exist. It does not exist. There is a ceaseless amount of content for us to consume at any point. And therefore, we are fighting against umpteen exponential more brands than we ever have before for attention. We're only fighting against 35 other Broadway shows. And I think something that drives me a little crazy in our industry is how competitive we feel with one another when that is not the issue. It's not like one of us is succeeding really hard, one of us is failing really hard. Like, there's like 3 shows that are at capacity, and the other 32 of us have room to grow. So like, I really desperately wish that we would live in abundance and instead of scarcity, and instead of being like, I want the audience that's at that other Broadway show, that we would just try to bring in new audiences because we have the tourists, we're just not getting them into Broadway theaters. Anyway, I need us to create a more comfortable experience for them. I need for us to explain what that Broadway experience is. We need a campaign, frankly, again, of like, this is Broadway again. We need to explain what it is that Broadway can offer, that TV doesn't offer, that movies don't offer, that a comedy club doesn't offer, that like any other experience that they are going to have in New York is going to offer. And then we need to show them what their nearly $200 a seat, or if you're merrily $900 a seat, or if you're cabaret, $1,500 a seat, we have to tell them what they're going to experience. They need to hear music from the show. They need to fall in love with the actors. All of that can happen on social media. All of that should happen on social media. Social media is the foundation upon which it is a foundation and an amplifier. It is going to make press go further. It is going to make your ad spend go further. It is home base. It is first point of contact. It is so underestimated in our industry right now. And yes, I'm saying that as somebody working in it. But I felt this way deeply before I stumbled into this job, and it's probably partially why I stumbled into this job. It drives me mad. It's so vital. Every Broadway show needs to be a media company, period. I mean, certainly until it opens, but like, honestly, every Broadway show is a digital media company. It has to be. We have to continue that experience online. Build the fans, feed the fans. Now I'm ranting. My point is, the fans are there. The tourists are there. The Broadway audience is waiting. They are there. We have to invite them in. Thank you. This was Katharine Quinn's TED Talk on the future. No, I would love to hear your thoughts here. I hope you found this somewhat interesting and coherent. I could truly talk about this forever. I do not enjoy monologuing. I do enjoy a conversation, so please leave a comment down below. I really, really, really enjoy hearing other people's thoughts, experiences, etc. Come up with your own ideas, poke holes in things that I offered, whatever it is that you'd like to do. I'm here to engage in conversation. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it useful, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing. It's the surest way to let the YouTube algorithm know what wonderful people to push these videos out to. People like yourself, it really, really does make a difference to me as a new YouTube creator. As always, I also invite you to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and it's Katharine Quinn. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.